Peace. Nope, nope. Matter of fact, resistance, resistance, resistance. We will not be speaking of peace until they ask of peace. We are at war, people. We are at war. All right. And what they did is they put so many obstacles in front of us within us. Right. So if you promote a certain group of people within us and you have that group also having conflict, meaning, the gays or abortions, women's right, whatever these things are that they put in front of us, that we have people within our community who relate to, they will allow them to utilize that against all of us. If that makes sense to you. All right, so I'm gonna give you an understanding in a second. Pardon me, I'm over here, doing my routine. If we have a group of people within our community, I don't care if it's thugs, you know what I mean, those who use nigga, and notice how I say all of these different things. I didn't just, say, gay people or people with abortions. It's all of these things because we are an easily moved demographics, right? Because they made sure that we was never a part of the system. And if you're not a part of the system, but you always want to be a part of, you'll gravitate to the parts where they're talking to you. You know what I'm saying? Let me move this over a bit here. Right? So you'll be talking to the part that appeals to you. Right? And so while it's appealing to you, you are also being utilized to go against the other parts of our community that you don't agree with because they're putting it all in there for you. So they can control the chaos because all they need you to do is appeal to it. And they convince you, through Freemasonry and stuff like that, to come to the aid of, right? Even if you might not agree because these are your brothers, you signed up for this, right? And so everybody is overlooking the the subtitles. How the devil is in the mix of it all. Right, right. Forgive me there. So anyway, so we overlook what the devil is doing because we so much invested into whatever part appealed to us. Right? So if I'm say a criminal, right? And I appeal to nigga, the word nigga and stuff like that. Right? And we train the working class, right? To look down on this, not the actions, you know what I mean, of crime. We'll get into that part later. But to to understand what the persons are embracing, meaning that if I give you anything, if you embrace that part, I'm easily allowed to set up another side that's not going to appeal. But they all are fighting to fit in to this structure. So if I'm saying nigger and he's saying black man, and we say that the nigger is this type of person and the black man is this, we have already placed a wedge between the people. There's no separation in the white man's crime and the white man's, so-called saintlyhood. Right? There's no, okay, you a guinea when are committing crime. Outside of that, you are an Italian, or WAP or whatever. I don't know the terminologies like that, but when the people do not separate or embrace any part of an outside community. We do. So they are allowed to constantly place a wedge between the people. Right? They are. Oh, by the way, if you see my hold on, let me take this ad down. Right? If you see anything popping up on the side right here, all you got to do is go to Twitch. Sign in, go to Old York Gritty, and anything that you write will be coming up right here. If you on YouTube and you watching this, if you type in a live chat, it will come up right here. If you on Facebook and you type into the live chat, it will pop up right here. Matter of fact, let me make sure that my my Facebook is set up. So I got one comment from Facebook. Hold on, find post. All right, okay. So we got that up. We got my Twitch, and we got, so anything, like I said, we got 37 coming through Twitter right now. We got nothing on Facebook, Twitch, or YouTube. But just for the record, if you wanted to, bang, as you can see, it would pop up right there. All right, okay. So, what we at? So what we're saying is we are being played against each other, or because we allow somebody else to dictate what we feel and see. TV, radio, they dictate, the flow through this entertainment process. They learned this system. That's what my show is about, showing you how they utilize this system to control you. They utilize a system of idolization to control you because you idolize them. And as long as you idolize them, then they can control everything that you see. And while you are idolizing and they controlling, they also keep the flow of society going by holding somebody on the outside. Many people on the outside, but then even in those outside, they always have to have one demographics outside. So this is where we're at with it. And I'm saying this because I'm addressing the abortion situations that's now arising within our communities, right? They had the sisters big up this independent, right? And so now you got this, my body, I can do what I want with it. Cool. You can do whatever you want with your body. Strange how that doesn't hold weight in you. You could do whatever you want, providing you don't have any responsibility. If you get pregnant, it's his fault. Up until you get pregnant, everything I. But the minute you get pregnant, that lands on him. Oh, you supposed to use it, and this. Then all of a sudden, this alpha man person taking the lead and all of that comes into play. Only when shit hits the fan. Up until then, nah, he's nobody. He doesn't hold no weight. He's slow. He's this. He's that. I'm the queen. I'm the goddess. I'm this. I'm that. But the minute it goes south, that's when all of this leadership and all of this manhood and all of that was supposed to kick in. Not before. Before, oh, I can't fuck with you. You too demanding. You too this. You too that. You can't have both. You can't say you want this type of person who's all of these masculinity things, but only when it's value to you when you immediately see it. Not every warning that you can't see, that he sees, he analyzes, he understands. All of that, fuck you, I ain't trying to listen to you. But the minute the shit hits the fan, all of a sudden we supposed to turn into Neiman Nielsen and shit and go rescue the daughter who's been taken, because nobody wanted to listen. Then we are supposed to show this hero lifestyle. This is what we've been waiting for. Oh yeah, fuck trying to avoid it. Now, we are supposed to show we are this person when it comes to fixing the problem. You can go and do something, we're supposed to come out and fix the problem. That's not logical, right? And so when you see people like me just staying away from y'all, you understand why. Not that any gay shit or anything. Is listen, man, I'm not going to be stressing myself out both ways. I'm not going to stress myself out trying to prevent the problem. And then every fucking time the problem occurs, I got to fucking be the one to go and fix it. I got to sit back and watch the chaos happen and then be the fucking hero every fucking... Nah, man, that shit is fucking tiring and fucking stupid. Because you raise your children not to fucking do that. But the minute you get with a fucking grown adult, you're supposed to watch all of the fucking chaos ensue? Because they're grown too? I'm grown and you grown. We're both fucking grown, right? So then don't come to me and expect me to fix your fucking problem. You grown. Don't use, oh, real man, or you love me, or none of that. You grown. And that goes for both ways. If he grown and you trying to tell, hey, you grown. What the fuck you want me to do? All the time I try to tell you don't do something. See, this is why, I stay away from people, because eventually it still spills in to your life. You can say, yeah, you do you, but that shit ain't logical. Because at some point in time, it's going to come back to you. Your household, what if they doing some stupid shit, right? Your money, your finance, whatever the fuck it is, it's gonna come back and affect you if you don't get in front of it immediately. So I think back to the 90s, right? Fathers not wanting to see their daughters, popping their coochies and, being forced out of the household for these reasons. For the reasons of seeing destruction and speaking on it. You too hard. You don't know. Let them have fun. Let them do all of that. All of those arguments silenced the man and ran him out the house. So you have a small group who just keep their mouth shut and they watch the whole shit go to shit just so they can say they were right there around it going to shit. But either way, you're not going to win. You can't be an alpha. You can't lead, right? If leading is based on money, and now that the financial system is shifting, especially in the black community, has always really been that way. The only time a man has been valuable is like in the 80s and 90s was through the drug trafficking, through the drug game. That's a fact. This $100,000 man and all of that wasn't like the 90s and the 80s and all that was drug dealers who you now you look down on. Now that that system is gone, you look down on them. You act like that wasn't what fed you that whole time. All of them cocks your moms was sucking, that's the cock she was sucking. Those are the $100,000 dudes she was after. So don't come in here with this, Hasidity and shitting on the generations before you who risked their lives for the dirt bags who didn't even honor them. Didn't even honor them. Said, oh yeah, you gay, niggas in jail, they this, they. And so this is what the promotion was. So now when you see people not willing to risk their freedom, that's why, because there was there was an ungrateful effect for that risk. She moved on. She got a new nigga. Oh, he ain't shit. Your father ain't this, right? All of that. So now the men who was willing to take all of those risks don't even exist. You told them, nah, stay in the house, oh, snitch on your boys, do this, do that. So if you feel unprotected, you developed the men that you feel unprotected by, and you rejected the men who was willing to do whatever it took to not only protect you, but to provide for you. Keyword, whatever it took. The government wasn't hiring the people, but they damn sure found a way to get the drugs into the community. So then the working man of the 80s and 90s was the drug dealer, was the stick up kids. The problem is you didn't allow these men to go in the direction of revolution. You sent them in the direction of economy and finances and providing you with all of the things that white women had. You didn't want what white women owned. You just wanted to say you had what white women had. White women had long hair. I gotta go get the long hair. Now it's lace fronts and this, that, and the third. You don't want the companies, go fuck that, we taking over that. This is what we taking. You didn't want that. You didn't want to take Ford Motors. Nah, you just wanted the car. Yeah, so me, I never wanted to work for Ford Motors. Never wanted to, right? But I would work to rob Ford Motors. How to take the fucking building. Take Ford himself. That's what I'm about. Take Ford, say, yo, listen, you got choices. You're going to sign this fucking thing over to me. I'm going after all of the heads. I'm going after everybody. That's me working for Ford Motors. I'm working for it. I'm working for that company. I'm not working for it. I'm not working for you. I'm working for me to take you out. That's just how I think. So when I see, our people and we have this, women are not protected and you didn't want protection. You said you got that. You said, Jesus is my Lord and Savior. You didn't say, black man, you are my Lord and Savior. You said Jesus. Jesus is Julius Caesar. So you said a white man is your Lord and Savior. Every time he brought something into that house, you thank Jesus. You thank God. You didn't thank the man. And so the same way that you was building up the young girls, you was also showing the young men it wasn't worth it. It's not worth it. The young men are hearing mama's cries, so he wants to fix mama's situation. Mama just wanted a new car. Mama just wanted to look fly in a mink and that. So that's what he's gonna go out and do, even when he finds his young mama. His mama said, no, I don't want any of those things. I want that fucking land. And don't come fucking back until you bring me that fucking land. Trust me, it would have happened. But she's scared of that. She's scared. No, 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 no. Boy, what you doing out there being up in front of them crackers' faces? But real sassy with the black man. Oh, you can't pay this. The same fucking companies that you hiding from. Why didn't you just tell me to go get it from them? Why didn't you promote the resistance? Not to say that there wasn't no sisters, right? But the majority did not promote the resistance. I'm not talking about the fashion of a Black Panthers and having sisters in it and doing food drives and all of that. No, no. That's keeping yourself within a system. My question was is why didn't you want the system? Why didn't you just want the system? Instead of running from the system and, trying to find ways to convince everybody to get in the system, why didn't you just say, yo, nah, take it? People talk about Eminem, introduction into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame before people like Nas, and that's because you invested into the system, so you care. I wouldn't know. I don't know. I wouldn't know about a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame and who won, who's been indoctrinated, and I don't know. That's white shit. I don't give a fuck. The music, the musicians who put that out, I will listen to them. But for me to go and care about what a white person say about what the fuck this black man is doing, I don't care. Like, what the fuck does that got to do with me? That's why I hate when, I see this props to wait. Oh yeah, he helped me, and as long as you have that predator system within our system, you're gonna always come back to the same thing. I told you. Think about the battle rap, right? What is it, New Breed or one of them? One of them out in like Canada. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't support them. I go with the URL. I go with a couple other ones, but nah, I'm not supporting y'all. I don't even. I don't. You know what I'm saying? I don't. And I look at the people who's in that, the black people in those. And I always keep note because I know in the future they're going to give these motherfuckers some type of credibility because they had a problem with the black ones, the URLs and all of them. Yeah, I see it. I see them, already taking their shots at URL and this, that, and the third. A system that was set up, dudes set it up their own, man. They went from the trenches and set that up. There's no praising anybody else because before this, there was none of those other people. So before you can eat, whether you get along with them or not, you don't even have to get along with them. But to attempt to give anybody else more credit is a discredit to you and your words. And I'm saying that because I really, want to be getting into, this abortion thing. And so I'm building up. You know how I do. I got to bring all of these elements in to understand the people as a whole. Like I said, we will involve ourselves with outside entities, right? We will involve ourselves with the outside entities. Allow them to have a voice within our own structure. And that must end. That truly must end. I'm sorry, I'm looking at my CPU readings and all this. Never mind. But this is what must end, people. We must understand that we are running in circles and we keep going back to a group of people. And so I say this is not geared towards the man or the woman. This is geared to us as a people. First, if your significant other or the person before they even become your significant other, if the person you are in pursuit of does not hold the people in the same faith, walk away from them. If they not into, dirty and up the whitewashing, walk away from them. Walk away from them. If they not willing to change the days of the weeks after African shit, walk away from them. If they not trying to help design a new universal black wardrobe, walk away from them. When I mean by universal black wardrobe, I mean, sure, we can have t-shirts and stuff like that. But when it comes to our outerwear, this is why you always see me really liking just the regular stuff. Because in my mind, I'm trying to figure out a way to redesign whiteness, turn it black. I used to think when I hear the people, yeah, they just mad because we rocked it better. Nah, man, we gotta walk. They still getting the money. We still giving them the imagery. They know to sell black people the shit with the big names on it. While white people, they get the little, you know what I mean? Because they know that we desire to be seen. I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with the desire to be seen. I have a problem with, well, why ain't you trying to be seen? That may sound strange to you, so let me break that down. Do you, like, I would never buy the Kanye, shoes and stuff like that, but that's him, his expression. And so, with that, I feel we need to come to an understanding. You know how they got Fashion Week? We, all the black companies, clothing companies, need to have a Fashion Week. New designs, new concepts, strictly all for us. The new color codings that when they say they doing these colors, we doing these. When they fashion, we come out saying, "Oh, this is the direction." We saying, "Nah, this is the direction we going." When it comes to the movie industry and the music industry, we need to have meetings for all of the record companies that are of black origins. We need to sit down and discuss what we are going to put out. They had a council of Nasir, right? We need one. We need a meeting of the minds to get together and sit down on how we want the direction of us to go. You want to say, blacks are the original Freemasons? Prove it. Prove it to me. Because every one of those organizations that tell you that, I'm still hearing them promoting the same thing from over there. They don't think you know. So you tell them, you say, okay, well, the Masonic symbol is, a vagina, right? So then once you start hearing these promotions where the male is put into one position and she is put into another, you know automatically they are promoting that system over there. And that goes for all of them. If you understand what the purpose is, what are they promoting? How does it work? Remember, through suggestion. I could take you on my Facebook page and show you the constant bombardment of this bullshit. So let's get into abortions. I explained to you in the concept of Nema, right? Nema, right? The demon goddess who borns, the demon ruler, like somebody who from this hardship, right, is supposed to be the birth of this ruler who would be more harsher than before. So the changes, the frustration, all of that you were putting, while you are living your best life, right? They are setting up a system where your hardship is going to make you more crueler. You probably crueler than my mother was. So when I talk to, the soul. And I'm telling that, so do you want to produce cruelty? And I'm not talking about in somebody else. I'm talking about the cruelty that you're going to produce upon oneself. That you're going to have to look at somebody else and try to give some type of justification for. And in the same way that you won't give the men the justification, when they are aware, will they give you that understanding and justification as well? You gotta ask yourself that. You gotta say, okay, um, how cruel can a person be? How smart and vindictive do I have to be to where I think the Salem witch hunt and these things won't take place? Now let's get into the science of this, right? You give a small amount of people something, right? And they can be in an influence on the masses. And you say that these people are the only ones who have a voice because what they have you see as a value. Like yo, if you ain't got money, nobody trying to listen, yo, you get out of here with that broke talk and right. So, and then the people who's listening, they start embracing that, and then they have to follow through. So then their whole time is caught up in only in pursuit of. And while they in that pursuit, there's going to be messages that's only going to keep you in the pursuit. Like I told you, I watched um the game go from I came in the game at 18 a gram. Right? That's when I got into the game. It was like 18 a gram, 17, if you knew somebody real good, right? For me, I'm saying me when I came in, right? When I got out the game, it was like 22 a gram. When I came in, 1.0 was a dime, right? You can get 10 of those. So that meant you made your money and still had 4 times in your pocket, right? When I left out the game, the dime was still point what, right? And there was you were basically given 2 for 15. So you was losing 5 on every sale. While they was promoting the double up. Meaning that when you was buying it, you'll give me 50, I give you $100 worth. Now do the math after you just did the 2 for 15s. There was no reason. Now, mind you, I wasn't doing the double ups and none of that shit. I always knew where to go get my shit. You know what I mean? But I'm just saying the logic of that. Not seeing because you're so caught up in the hype. You basically holding the work for the fiend at that point because you still thinking that game is still the same game, but that shit died out. I remember a video game. It was like a video game, but it was like role playing really. This shit was called like Drug Wars. And from that, and I was young and I played that, but I understood the concept of the game, constantly telling you that there was a shift in the market. Sometimes this could be up, sometimes this could be, but when this is up, this could be down. But this right here always seems to fluctuate around the same amount. All right. Now, I don't know if Trading Places was out around the same time as the game Drug Wars, right? But inside of that, I remember understanding, the fluctuation of a market. You know what I mean? So for me, I'm like, okay, this is all just basically all the same thing, right? Somebody is gonna come in and fluctuate and shift the market. I remember when Eminem, came out with all of the pills and all of that. The street market fluctuated. So I'm always the type of person to see who contributed, and I don't mean just in the musical format, but impacted the community. You understand what I'm saying? And if I say Eminem contributed anything, it was damn sure that he brought in, the Little Waynes being junkies, and for me, this is just my opinion. You know what I mean? Um, he fluctuated that. You know what I mean? So I just understood how the market, was in the shift. Always looked like, there's a shift here. I'm out. You know what I mean? And so, but I always knew people. So at one point in my life, it was like people would still probably assume, that I was in it because I was helping dudes who was in the game. You know what I mean? Just by making sure, like, oh yeah, yo, check my man out, this, that, and the third. You understand what I'm saying? But I wasn't, so people around me would look at me thinking that. You know what I mean? And looking and going, well, why you don't wanna, and it's hard to explain to people shit. So you just, look at them. And the reason why I'm saying that is also women. You know what I mean? Their vision of things. And it's hard to explain to somebody that they're seeing something that's not real. What does that mean? Okay. Without the individual that you know personally growing up around you, right? Your perception of things is childlike because everything that you learned before you went there was childlike. The imaginary stage. You watching TV, rap music, videos, movies, everything, right? And you are getting this bombardment, and so your imagination and how you formulate even yourself, that person is not around for. right? So you see in the streets as, oh, because a person is simply or have the abilities to do these things, that's something that you build in your mind. You don't know the real business of aspects of it, right? So a young lady sees somebody in Jordans, um, whatever, Gucci or whatever, right? She's not calculating life, at that moment of what they see. And I mean, like now might be different, you know what I mean? But I don't think at that time, and I'm hoping, you know, um, the reality of births and all of that, at a certain time is because a person might see something and think that it's secure. And I don't mean, like I said, I don't mean, that's why I'm being, cautious on like implying as if a female is a hoe or, not like that. I mean, thinking that they're ready to be grown, right? And thinking that the person that they're engaging with is at this stage for that to happen. Young man, clothes, this, that, and the third. Is that person, being responsible? If you gotta go to hotels, if you gotta go to, um, just in general, man, you know what I mean? Sneak over to friends' houses or whatever. If y'all doing these type of things, that is not the ideal concept of having a child. Because the person has shown that they can present themselves in a certain fashion does not mean that they have put themselves in situations where that can still be maintained while doing all of these things that you take for granted under your parents' roof. You're taking for granted the rent being paid, what got to be done. You're taking for granted all of these things, right? So you seeing this and see how I'm talking to the young ladies, you know what I mean, about the perception of life. While you're looking at somebody from an idea of what you are hearing, seeing, don't assume that that's what's really it, right? And so, if abortion is changing, I mean, if the laws, say if the laws change, right? And now these are the things that take place. And I really think I don't think it would have went so far if it wasn't for the gender. Like, I think if women would had stepped back, right, and said, you know what, I still can't, support this right here, right? I don't think the pushback would have been because inside of one action is giving birth to the other action. And so that's where me, as an analyst, as somebody just, studying and giving you this long spiel, you know what I mean? Just basically explaining, how life is on just traveling and journeying and from walking out into the world. First, you getting it from the people around you. You're adding that with what you see on TV. But both of those are really just an illusion due to the fact that you're not around that all the time. So this is not an attack at all. Like, this is really a logical warning. If nobody ever broke it down to you, these things are not real because there's real life, there's real responsibilities. Things really change. And where the person is at when the change happens, meaning the people that you come across. Are they the facilitator? Or are they the lowest on the totem pole or somewhere in between that line? Because if it ain't this person up here, all of this is all the same fucking shit. Because they gonna keep getting smaller and smaller. You understand what I'm saying? And the facilitator, if they smart, they done already shifted over here and started. And this is why this is getting smaller because they providing over here this shift. It takes a bright person to see shifts. It takes a very bright person to understand that, damn, they utilizing us too. Understand, what Freemasonry is, Eastern Stars, or whatever one you want to go under, any name, crew, whatever. It doesn't really matter. But understand that somebody else is controlling that. They do not have you in mind. They don't have your interest in mind. They do not have your best interest in mind. It looks like it, but you don't see what they promote to the next one. I'm just looking at some of these comments. Forgive me. Um, to be worried about an abortion is crazy. You don't see what they doing with, the Taliban and all of these. Like, you gotta question yourself from which direction is happening. If you read the Bible, you know how they set people out there, get them all exposed. Then they get the chopping block. How can the men protect you and you let the wickedness happen? So now they all, you know, but so how do you protect that person? You made your protector a little pocket book dog. I never seen a Like a chihuahua holding it down on the battlefield and shit. If you seen it happen, you put me on. But I've never, ever, ever seen a chihuahua hold it down on the battlefield. You know what I'm saying? So when you look at this and you understand what is being placed in front of you, you go, damn. Hold on a minute. Hold on 1 second, please. Yeah, forgive me, forgive me. Alright. Yeah, I got some people interested in my Freemason class and shit. I'm teaching Freemasonry. You know, if you're interested, you can always go to my page and you get the information, and then from there you can hit me up and I can explain it. I mean, if you don't get it, most of it, is is long reading. So making sure that you get it. That like my thing is I like for people to know where things is at, right? And understand that there's no shortcuts, right? Like to understand something is not somebody giving you a meme and you just keep regurgitating the meme and passing it around, and it should be dead ass wrong. It should be dead ass wrong. Like they'll show you a lone wolf and tell you, yeah, alpha can stand on his own. That's not an alpha. An alpha, needs the people like the people need the alpha. You know what I'm saying? So for me, it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? But you just you just let it be. You know what I'm saying? You be like, all right, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, whatever. I'm gonna let you. You didn't after a while. You say something, and the next thing you know, you don't see them shits no more. You don't see them shits circulating. That's what I mean, because it's like a whole group pumping out the same nonsense. And you'd be like, yo, they clearly nobody reads, do research, has an understanding, builds on, and grows with. You understand what I'm saying? Like, they literally want you to tell them. So then when you have to read it out and this, that, and the third, then they like, oh, this? I'm like, yeah, this is where the information is. What the fuck you thought it was? It was gonna be the same little painting of like a black Jesus now, when all of a sudden that no man, that's not how this works. That's how they got you in the first place, you see. They gave you a book and they knew you was not gonna read it. They just told you about it. And all the same people got to do is keep pointing to the same thing and come up with the same universal meaning that they, you know what I mean? And so when you don't know the origin of things, then you're going to argue it's not the origin because you really don't know. Oh, my fault, my fault, my fault. Yeah, you really has to be checking my volume. But the thing is, you really don't know then, right? If you don't know the origin and if you can't trace something back, you need to be questioning that. And the ill thing is, the origins that I'm tracing, I'm just understanding something over here and going to research. So it's an outside source. If that makes sense. Like, meaning that before I learned any of these things that I'm teaching you, I learned the fundamentals that everybody else learned. I just asked questions from a young kid, like, yo, wait, you saying that? Nah, wait, hold on. And, from the answers, I developed an understanding of. And from that understanding of, which was these motherfuckers is freestyling. So, but I knew that this, book was universal. So, and they made sure that everybody had it in their hands. So then I said, okay. And I read it. You know what I mean? And I said, okay, wait a minute. This is not what people are promoting. So then I asked questions about what was the origin of this. Like, I need to know what this is about. Went into the origins of what they said it came from. So then that leaves you into a whole different direction, right? And you got to learn that. Cool. But while in this, what sent me in the direction was the shills. Those who say certain things, the organizations and this. So I took those organizations and that's when I said, oh, that happened around 21, 22 years of age. I told you I was asking questions at 9. At 9 years old, I was like, nah, that don't make sense. I was considered bad because I wouldn't accept the answers and told people that don't make sense. You ain't got no upbringing, boy. You ain't supposed to, what I'm like. My grandpa would be like, yeah, see? He like this all the time because I know some. But no, well, my grandmother was different. Like she never bullshitted and lied. So I can't say she was just saying the whole the whole nonchalant giving a fuck approach, right? But um, because me and my grandmother, like, I can say that me and her never really had bullshit conversations outside of maybe like the Jeffersons. You know what I mean? And then when I got tired of that conversation, it was always, real things like, you know what I mean? And so I can honestly, say that she was and I always seen her learning. You know what I mean? Like, I don't care what time I walked in a house, whatever. She was reading something. You knock on the door, how you doing? She reading something. You know what I mean? So I learned that. You know, never limit that. And she like certain things, she just, like, it's funny. I would go on the street and have conversations about religion. I just assumed my grandmother didn't know because she ain't never say nothing about it. Like, that was never one of the things, like my father, like, that just never was a conversation within my household ever. I've never seen one time, usually only time I ever seen somebody attempt that was my aunt. Oh yeah, you need to put a church. I mean, a a tree in here. You know he young. What y'all doing? I never even heard her argue back about it. It was just no conversation. I respected it. So I never went to my grandmother about it because I just took it as she didn't, like she didn't know. She never talked about it. So my grandmother do a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? So she never talked about it. Like it wasn't like a concern at all. You know what I mean? And my pops the same way. Never, even up until right before his death, literally. That shit was never a fucking conversation. No heaven, no hells, no, you know what I'm saying? Nothing. It was just, so for me, it, for me, it gave me the ability to research open mindedly because my influences never gave me an inkling that I could go to them about it. You know what I mean? Like, oh, one time I went to, like I told you, one time I went to my pop's room and I had stole some coins. I was a bad kid. You know what I'm saying? And these coins was on his it was like a Bible and shit. But that was it. You know what I'm saying? Like I never once heard him. He got mad though. He was ready to fuck me up. You know what I'm saying? But besides that, like, but like I said, it, me being West Indian, um, knowing about voodoo, but never really, taking that shit serious either. You know what I mean? Just in general, like it just was one of those things where I just was, I don't know. It was like, yeah, whatever. You know what I mean? So, um, when you in that position, you have the ability to explore open mindedly. And it makes you look like you're a real bad person because you're not you're not given the three vices. hear, see, and speak of evil. I wasn't given those vices. I didn't have like, well, sometimes you see shit like, yo, nah, it's like, yo, hold on. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I'm gonna speak of the evil. Like, yo, what is that? Cause I see it. I can hear it. You see what I'm saying? So they put them vices, those three vices, hear no evil, seek no evil. See no evil and speak no evil. And when they say that is also speak of, like meaning, yo, oh, cause then, yo, chill, yo, chill. Oh, yo, you know what I mean? Oh, you a rat, you this. So the evil, because you speak none of it, you don't go, yo, that's wrong, you don't, and they all being indoctrinated around you. And so they would assume that you have no morals or principles. And through time, they realized that nah, he's not that dude. You know what I mean? I do got morals. So I was always uh, in the in a good place, even in the most wildest of situations. I mean, killers and you know what I mean, like being in prison and I'm good. Like I wasn't even aware of things that people say. Like they knew not to show it around me. They knew I was looking down on that shit. You see what I'm saying? So people love to try to get some dirt in order for them to use that as leverage. I was always the same person in the light or in the dark. And around these people or around these people, I was always me. If that makes sense. Hold on. You know what I mean? So I remember one time I was on in Harlem, and these two dudes, is trying to run down on me, had a pit with me and shit. And like I'm like, what is good? Like, ready to bang. I put the dog on the gate, like, yo, it's good. You know what I mean? And I didn't know one of my boys was around. Like he was a crowd, so he was like around the crowd waiting. You know what I mean? So when everything broke off, when niggas just went their way, he was like, yeah, I was right there waiting and shit. And I was like, oh word, I didn't know he was dead. But from that, he wanted to get down with certain things, but I wouldn't, put him down because I wasn't with the people that he was under the impression I was. Like meaning that we was under the same banner, but before this is when it just I don't want to get into it. You know what I mean? But because you see, I'm always elusive on those conversations because I don't like promoting that. I'm not a proponent of anything but the message, and don't even want to influence anything based on whether I'm perceived as somebody. Nope, I don't want to put it out there like that. You know what I mean? If I truly am not a part of that or with that mindset, I have to be like this when I just got to stop at times. Like, nah, I can't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like because it's um it's counterproductive in reality. It's counterproductive. When I see it, when I see a lot of dudes do it, I be like, yo, I don't think that's productive, my dude. I think that's counterproductive. But anyway, I just was really, I'm just shooting the breeze. I'm just, I told you, if you was here yesterday, I'm just really trying to, I'll probably remove this in the other one. Like it won't even be up. You know what I'm saying? I'm just getting used to, um, speaking again, in front of the camera. So that way, I can, and knowing that it's on, is totally different from thinking you standing there just talking. I mean, like, I know it's on, you know what I'm saying? I'm looking at certain things, I'm watching how it's operating. So when I get back on it, which would be, let's see, I got an appointment, um, I have some back spasms, so I got to do some therapy and shit. So um, Thursday. Thursday I'll be because I want to do the show. I'm gonna do one. It's a. I'll talk about. I want to see if it's gonna be the Batman. I'm doing a Who Made This Movie review. Nah, I got all my, when I come back, I'll tell you. But anyway, yeah. Thank you for listening. This probably won't even be up in 20 minutes. Peace.